Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Got some breaking news for you. I thought that my stint doing Transfer Daily and transfers for the day was over, but some breaking news has just come through regarding Alexander Zinchenko of Arsenal, or should I say about to be formerly of Arsenal. This news broken by the reliable journalist David Ornstein has been breaking some excellent news and exclusive news throughout this transfer window. This is what he says. Exclusive. Nottingham Forest find a last-minute agreement with Arsenal for Alexander Zinchenko. Deal sheet submitted on straight loan after Javi Gallen move collapsed. Nottingham Forest and Arsenal are confident that the deadline day switch for the Ukraine international is done in time. Of course, the deadline was 7 p.m, but if you get those deal sheets in before 9, a deal can still go ahead. They are hopeful that it was all done in time and Alexander Zinchenko will become a Nottingham Forest player. Really interesting business because Zinchenko had been linked with moves to several clubs. The latest one, as late as yesterday, was Marseille. Now, Marseille looked like they were really coming in hard for Zinchenko, but then they decided to move for Emerson instead from West Ham, and that was their left back, and the deal looked like it was dead for Alexander Zinchenko. And then throughout today, there were rumours of Hamburg, there were rumours of several other clubs for Zinchenko, but nothing really happened, and it was thought that Zinchenko was going to stay at Arsenal. However, a deal has been found and Zinchenko will be joining Nottingham Forest, and that's a very good move for him. A very good club, of course. Zinchenko really now falling down the pecking order. We saw yesterday, that left-back position, Mars Lewis-Skelly, who's an England international now, on the bench. Ricardo Calafiori playing brilliantly in that game. And then when you add into the fact that, they've signed Piero Hincapié as well, who was announced today, who's also a centre-back, who can also play in the left-back position. That's way too many left-backs. And, he was surplus to requirements, unfortunately, at Arsenal. And Alexander Zinchenko is joining Nottingham Forest on loan. The other thing, two things really, really interesting about this. Number one, what's Arsenal's next game after the international break? Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest at home, but I'm sure that there'll be something within that loan deal, because this is a loan deal from what I'm understanding here. I'm sure that there'll be something within the loan deal that says that Zinchenko won't be able to play against Arsenal. I'm sure this is a loan deal. I mean, David Ornstein hasn't actually said it is a loan deal, but I'm sure it is going to be a loan deal, right? So Arsenal will have something written in there saying that he won't be able to play against Arsenal when he faces. Us, when Nottingham Forest face us straight after the international break. The other thing that is really, really interesting about this one is the person, of course, who is at Nottingham Forest doing the deals, and that, of course, is Edu. Edu, the person who bought Zinchenko in at Arsenal, now bringing him in at Nottingham Forest. So that's also really, really interesting as well. But yeah, just trying to get some update on that to see if that is actually a loan deal or a permanent deal. But it doesn't, he's not specified that. But from my understanding, I'm sure this is going to be a loan deal, straight loan for one season with Alexander Zinchenko. And listen, Arsenal today have been really busy. Andrea Berta moving players out. We know that Lokonga has gone to Hamburg. We know that Reece Nelson went to Brentford. So they've been very busy on sort of moving players out that needed to go on loan or needed to sort of, more or less, I know it's really harsh to say, but leave the club. And Zinchenko, of course, was one of those. And Zinchenko has always had a lot of admirers in this transfer window and teams that really wanted to take him. But right along the line, it's always been the sticking point has been his wages, which is said to be around about £150,000 a week. Lots of clubs not wanting to meet that sort of, very, very high wage. And that was always been the stumbling block on trying to get Zinchenko a move. But this now looks like it's been sorted out. And on Zinchenko, I just got to say that I think Zinchenko has been a really good signing for Arsenal over the years. Remember, when him and Gabriel Jesus first came in at Arsenal, they were a real breath of fresh air. They came in, they brought something different. They really changed the mentality at the club. We challenged for the league, and he was a really big part of that. And his ability to invert into midfield, his ability on the ball. I mean, he's a very, very good player, a very, very good player, and a very, very likable person as well. And it's going to be sad to see him go. But go he is going. And, we're going to be wishing him all the best of luck. As I said, been a lot of outgoings today. Kivior as well, I noticed as well, saying his goodbyes as well to Arsenal. Let me see if I can just find it here. Jakob Kivior, this was a quote that he put on his Instagram. He says, I would like to thank all the people and fans I met along my journey at Arsenal. These were unforgettable moments that will stay with me forever. Thank you, Gunners. Jakob Kivior, of course, who has joined Porto on a permanent deal. So permanent deal for him. And yeah, it's always sad when you see certain players leaving, especially players that have done pretty well for Arsenal. And I think, Jakob Kivior has done very well for Arsenal. Same as well with Alexander Zinchenko. He's done really, really well for Arsenal as well. So Zinchenko on the move. Just as it, before I go, just on a footnote, it was really interesting to see the news of Mark Gahey of Crystal Palace not now going to Liverpool, staying at Crystal Palace. Palace were unable to get a replacement for him, and the deal has fallen through, even though it was agreed that he was going to be joining Liverpool. That has fallen through. So yes, they've got Isak, but they haven't got Mark Gahey. And it just goes to show the importance of trying to get your business done early. Why did Liverpool leave that to the last minute? Everyone's been saying they're doing great business. Does our window now move above theirs now that they didn't get Gahey, even though they've got Isak? Because they haven't quite got all they needed. That's really, really interesting. I'll leave that one out to you. But anyway, the big news, let me just go back to it again and revisit that, is that Alexander Zinchenko is leaving Arsenal. And as I said, it looks like it's a loan deal. David Ornstein, exclusive, said Nottingham Forest find a last-minute agreement with Arsenal for Alexander Zinchenko. Deal sheet submitted on straight loan. There it is. Straight loan right there. I knew I saw it. After Xavi Gallen move collapse, Nottingham Forest and Arsenal confident deadline deal switch for the Ukraine international done in time. Straight loan. I'm losing it, people. There's been too many transfers. Listen, thank you very much for watching. And once again, I've been saying this all day. Everybody who followed Transfer Daily right throughout the transfer window, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you guys. Now that we got everything in place, let's go and try and win the league, please. Catch all the best shows from your favourite fan channels on GFN Soccer TV, now streaming on Samsung TV Plus.